into. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. We're going to be doing a 3,000 mile review on my 2022 WRX, so let's go ahead and get into it. So here is the 2022 WRX. Now, I got mine in Solar Orange Pearl. I personally think it's an amazing color. I was really going for red, but man, this orange is just so cool, and there's not a ton of them around, and it's kind of a hate it or love it color. And for me, I love it. All right, so first question we're going to answer is, how has this car done performance-wise? Now, straight out of the factory, this is pretty much still a stock car. I have a Aeroflow axle back in the back with burnt tips. Super awesome. But anyways, back to what I was saying. Performance-wise, this car has done very, very well. Now, it's not the fastest car on the market, so if you're looking to get in one of these, don't expect it to be the fastest car in the world, but of course, it is faster than your average traffic. A lot faster than your average traffic if you really get on it, and when you get on it, it's a lot of fun. Now, right out of the factory, these come with 271 horsepower, so definitely enough to give this thing a scoot on the road. And I've driven a couple of VAs before owning this, and I can tell you that the power difference, even though it's about 3 or 4 horsepower difference, which is not a lot on paper at all, it is definitely worth checking out this new 2.4 motor in here. It's just so much more refined, and it's still an FA motor, so you're still gonna have a similar feeling, but driving this is a lot different than driving a VA WRX. With the previous generation of WRX, you had a kind of all or nothing kind of power band, in my opinion. It would take a minute to get the turbo spooled up, and then once the turbo spooled up, then you were off. Most Subarus that are turbocharged kind of work that way. Most cars that are turbocharged work that way as well. But with this one, they tuned it so well from the factory. You might hear everybody say that, and it's completely driving this compared to something like that. It feels like there's always a constant power, whether that's just a little bit or that's a lot. Of course, the turbo still needs to spool up, but the turbo feels like it's going with you as you're speeding up instead of just an all or nothing kind of power. So that is very, very nice, especially from factory. They did a nice job tuning this chassis. And in case for those who are wondering, 0 to 60 time can be in the 5s from factory with this car. So definitely not bad, but that 5 seconds is beating on the car pretty bad. So now another question that we're going to answer, and why half of these people buy these cars, including myself, is the all-wheel drive system, and how is it done? Now, actually, I bought this car back in November, right when it was about to snow here in northern Utah. Gosh, so gorgeous. Anyways, yeah, so I've had plenty of experience seeing how this thing does with or without snow, and I gotta tell you, all-wheel drive, praise all around. It's amazing. I gotta say though, one thing that you want to do if you buy one of these vehicles, especially if you're winter driving, get rid of those Dunlops that they come with from the factory. Those tires are decent sport tires. They're not the best, of course. They're kind of throwaway tires in my opinion, but a lot of people say that you can drive with them. I'm here to attest otherwise. They are not suited at all for snow. Of course, they're a sport tire, but just go ahead and get rid of those, or set them aside for summer and get yourself a pair of winter tires. I went with the Bridgestone Blizzak WS90s. They come in at about 11 or 12 on tread length, so they're a pretty meaty tire, and they have done wonders for this vehicle. With these bad boys, I was able to tank through about a foot or 2 of snow, no problem, and she just took it like a beast. So if you're getting one and worry about winter, don't let it stop you. Just get a good set of winter tires and you're good to go. And about the all-wheel drive system on these models specifically, for the all-wheel drive system on the manuals, it is a 50-50 split. So perfect 50-50, don't need to worry about power distribution. While on the automatic, it's still a good split, but it's 45-55, so there's gonna be a little bit of a difference there. So definitely another reason to buy a manual over an automatic, but that's a different discussion entirely. All right, coming around back, here's those axle back tips that I was telling you about. Aeroflow dynamic burn tips. Beautiful. Anyways, getting sidetracked. Next question we're going to answer is specifically leaning towards more of the manual experience. How has this car been to daily drive? Now, I'm not very good at manual, I will admit that. So picking up this car kind of reinitiated a learning curve for me. So I haven't been the best shifter in the world, but I've gotten better and I feel very competent at where I am now in my manual shifting career. Now, shifting this being a manual feels great. My one complaint is it does feel a little clunky, as most Subarus do. That's easily fixed by something like a shifter stop or a short throw shifter kit, which there are some excellent ones out there that can help fix that problem. But from factory, it is pretty clunky and there is a little bit of play. So if that's something that's going to bug you, I'd recommend looking into something like a short throw shifter or shifter stop at the very least to help with that wiggle room. But otherwise, the transmission is great, the clutch is great. I don't have any issues with it whatsoever at the moment. Now, hopping on the inside of the WRX, how has the interior held up? And in my opinion, it has held up very well. It's doing the job just fine. I gotta say, I wasn't the biggest fan of this screen when it first came out, but it's kind of grown on me. Let's go ahead and turn this on real quick. I apologize, the video might have cut out right there. I turned it on and my Bluetooth connected. So my specific trim to my vehicle is I do have the premium, but of course without the sunroof or the Harman Kardon system. That's really the only major differences between a premium and a premium with the premium package, I guess you could call it, or whatever they call it. But yeah, the interior has held up very, very well. Of course, you're getting kind of cheap plastics. I mean, there is some soft touch material up here and a little bit on the doors, but most of it's just hard plastic. So that's something that if that bugs you, I guess there is other options. Like I know Subaru sells the Alcantara trim set by itself, but it is a little bit pricey. But to be honest, it doesn't feel as bad as I thought it would. A lot of this is kind of moved over from the Crosstreks and the not the Ascents, the Imprezas, and a lot of it is same materials, same parts, but they kind of gave it a different feel in here, especially you know, it being a sports car. Hopefully it feels different from an economy car, but you know, it kind of feels like its own thing, even though it's sharing a lot of parts with its brothers and sisters in the brand. That was a weird way to say it. I do gotta say, my one gripe with the interior is these dome lights, unless I think you get the limited trim or up, they do stay halogen bulbs for the map light, the dome light, as well as the trunk light and the license plate light bulbs. But the license plate light bulbs could be halogen on all of the models. I'm not sure about that one, but definitely something to upgrade. And it's pretty cheap too. I think Diode Dynamics and Circuit Demon sell a kit that's like $40, so definitely not the end of the world. But other than that, I mean, it's great, especially, you know, there being only like a $1,500 price difference between the base model and this. I definitely recommend getting this premium over this just for this screen alone, as well as in the base, you surprisingly don't get cup holders in the middle of the seats right there, but those actually come down and give you extra cup holders in the premium and up trims. Kind of lame that the base model doesn't have that because they're kind of cheap cup holders, but I get it, you know, cost cutting, 17-inch rims instead of 18-inch rims on the premium and ups as well. So I definitely would spring for one of these if you can, but if not, it's not the end of the world either. You do get one of these charging ports in the back for 2 USBs with the premium and up as well, so another reason to get the premium. But yeah, the interior is great. You have this little screen right here. Let me go ahead. Let's see. Don't know if I can move it. Ow. Okay, I'm just dumb. It tells me to close the door. I should close the door. So you have this little screen, little infotainment system. A lot of Subarus have them now, but this one has a boost gauge, which is really, really nice. It tells you your peak boost right there as well, which is a cool feature, and it's variable, so depending on your climate and temperature, and you can actually reset it so you can see your real-time peak boost as well, which is really, really cool. But yeah, just your basic average miles to the gallon, MPG, I guess it's the same thing, ignore me. Yeah, just basic features. We're gonna move away from that. But yeah, it's super spacious in here. I've had full-grown adults in the back, no problem. The headroom clears just fine. I've had a few customers, since I used to work at Subaru, come in with their vehicles and with baby seats, and there's plenty of room to do that if you're using this as a family car. Definitely doable. But yeah, this is I think it's a great option for your money, especially for what's out there, and for getting a brand new car in today's market. This is relatively on the lower side, which is unfortunate because this is still a $30,000 car. But I think it's definitely worth the money if you have the money to do it. This car is phenomenal. It drives phenomenal. You can drive it in all weather conditions, and it just won't let you down, you know? And the power's there. Definitely room for more power, for sure. There's some crazy things going on. I'm pretty sure if you have been following the 2022 and 2023 WRXs for a while now, you've seen a few dynos and a few poles and a few tunes on these vehicles, and they have the potential for some pretty decent power without breaking the bank, or I guess depending on where you go, you can break the bank pretty easy, but without breaking the motor, which is the most important part. So that's really, really cool. And yeah, it's a great car. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I know we didn't really get any hands-on POV driving or any driving experiences, and I apologize, I'm running short on time. But again, thank you so much for making it this far. I really, really appreciate it. I really want to make more videos for you guys and see where this car goes and see where this channel can go. And please give me some feedback. Of course, nothing negative, but constructive criticism, any tips or tricks, please let me know. I'm completely open to it, and I would love chatting with you guys. And I would love to hear what you guys think about the 2022 WRX, and you know, maybe if you're buying one, I can help you reassure that you're making the right decision, because these cars are fun. But yeah, thank you so much again. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. See you on the next one.